back in Keith's Fishroom. God, look at that tank. I've been leaving it to go El Natural. There's a lot more nutrients in that tank than there is in that tank, so there's a lot more plant matter in that tank, but then the crypts are gone. Anyway, I'm on a waffle. So, I've got loads of what I'm going to talk about tonight. So, while I'm just waiting for people to come online, I always end up a minute late because you have to do loads of stuff to go live. You have to answer loads of questions, and there's one that you can't find in the scroll. But anyway, it's like tiny in loads of terms and conditions. Anyway, so let's talk away. So while I'm waiting for people to come on, so last time we went live, I had 88 subs. I need to stop saying sound like Stevie Gerrard, don't I? So last time we went live, I had 88 subs, and just as I pressed record then I just looked. No worries, mate. So yeah, so last time we went live I had 88 subs, and when I checked just before I hit the live button I was on 117, so it seems like I've grinded up to 100, and now if it's 100 it seems to be picking up a bit, but it's been cool, yeah. So anyway, what I want to talk about tonight is I want to talk about my plans moving forward. So I put a poll out the other day on the community channel, asking on the community page, even on the channel, asking what people wanted me to, were they interested in me doing more setups of planted tanks and stuff like that, or set up more tanks in general. Cheers, bro. I made up to it 100, and it seemed to have picked up like 17 in a couple of days after that. It's like, I know my stats seem to have picked up since I've hit 100. I don't know why that is, but it just seems like all my stats have picked up. But anyway, so I put a poll out, and 75% of people said yeah, they want to see me do more setting tanks up, which is good for me because that's something I enjoy doing. And I don't know whether anyone's seen my latest video. I recorded that like weeks ago and just held it and then thought, well, hang on a minute, I want to talk about that. So I need people to have watched it before I talk about it on this live. So I released it yesterday, and it seems to be doing really well at the moment. Like it's picking up about 3 times the views my normal videos do. So hopefully that's a good sign. Someone's just come on and off. But yeah, so about 3/4 of people have said that. Bad for electricity bill though. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I mean, we can do bits and bobs, can't we? But 25% said no, they'd like me to do care guides on fish, which kind of links in anyway to what I had planned, because what I was thinking of doing is setting up planted tanks. Well, not just planted tanks. I was thinking of like the likes of this. Remember when I set the black water tank up and I set the front hose up in here, done like a little scape and planted it up. As I say, my stuff's all about ecosystems, and that's like the Wallstad method's the ultimate ecosystem. That's why I wanted to give that a crack. And as I said on the last live stream, the tank was starting to look a bit tired, even if there was fertilising the tank and stuff. That it just wasn't. The tank wasn't picking up. I was getting algae and stuff like that, which told me it's time I needed to reset the tank. So it did, and I've gone Wallstad. And there's 2 reasons. One, I wanted to do a Wallstad tank, or I wanted an ecosystem tank. Like I want fish, plants. Tanganyika would be awesome, to be fair. Do you know what? I absolutely love Tanganyikan tanks. Like I think people who are newer to fish keeping, it's the colours pull them to Malawi. But when you're more experienced a fish keeper, Tanganyika really catches your attention, because you've got shell dwellers, you've got cave dwellers, you've got rock dwellers, you've got like sardine cichlets, like the, what do they call it? Something leptosoma. Like, and they're like sardines. He sits at the top of the tank. If you've got it like a tall tank, they'll sit in the open water and swim. So you've got all these different behaviours. Like I love shell dwellers, but they're moody little cats, aren't they? You know, like I had one. It's about that big, in a tank like this size, but twice as high and twice as wide. And he'd be down here, and you'd see him nosing through the rocks. And my front hose would be down here, and he'd make his way down and chase all the front hoser. And you'd think, you literally fit in their mouths and you're terrorising them, like you're their dinner. and you're terrorising them. It was literally the dominant fish in the tank was this little Telmatochromis that big. I used to call him Moody Bum because he was just a terror. He was a moody bum. Yeah, but like another thing about Tanganyika is obviously you need to make the water hard, don't you? And you get stuff like Anubias and Vallisneria and stuff. Absolutely loves that water, and people get Anubias and it never moves. Doesn't matter how much light you put on it or how much fertilizer you put in the water. Like the Anubias just won't grow. And then you put it in hard water. Like you could literally put concrete in the tank, and it'd love it. It'd absorb all the carbon out of it, and it'd just go nuts. And like that's how you get Anubias to grow anyway. If you want to know how Anubias grows, but yeah, I'd love to do that with the Tanganyika tank. Like the val I had in here, like I planted it at the back, and it just went everywhere in a month or two. It was amazing, and there is something I've got to go, but mate, it's good for my stats if you watch it when you come back. Take care, see you soon anyway. But yeah, that was the let's get back to my plan. So I was talking about people saying they wanted me to do care guides on fish, which ties into what I'm saying, because like the next couple of months I look like they're gonna be quiet on the channel because I've got plans for when the temperature warms up. So I'm going to take it as an opportunity to kind of knock the quantity of videos down on the head, but I want to work on my quality, because like I want to put it out to use as better. You know, I need to brush up on my editing. I watch my videos and they're very clunky, and I'm thinking it's not fair on you guys if you sit down to watch this stuff. Like I want you to enjoy it. Like I want you to enjoy these live streams. Like there's no point me I'm not chasing numbers. Well, I am a bit because there's a lot of features on YouTube that you need to hit subscriber counts to get them, and that's the only reason why I want to do. Like I wanted 1,000 to unlock live, but I don't know whether it was just a coincidence or YouTube had sent me a questionnaire for creators to fill in, and they sent me the thing. I filled it in, and then it unlocked features. I don't know whether it was just a coincidence that YouTube did that when they sent that out or what, but that's what happened, and it was within days. But anyway, let's get back to the topic. I need to keep on topic. So yeah, the next couple of months are going to be quiet, and I'm going to take an opportunity there to kind of lift the quality of my videos. Like my thumbnails, I'm going to work on my thumbnails. I've got a PC, I've got a better laptop. I want to try and get my camera footage and my audio. I don't know whether the audio sounds better tonight, but I'm trying something with the audio tonight to see if I can get that. But anyway, it's fine tuning while it's quiet over the next couple of months, because once the temperature starts warming up, I'm just going to go ham. I'm going to take 2 weeks off work, and I'm going to go ham with what I want to do in my fish life. So that's the plan. So yeah, better quality content coming up. I want to make YouTube videos I want to write little scripts, not like, and then I want to record better, and I want to edit better, and I want to put a better quality video out. So when it does warm up and these projects start, hopefully it'll be better quality. Well, it will be a better quality content. But I say that's just me being a new YouTuber, isn't it? Like at first you just get in front of the camera and you're shy or whatever, you're nervous in front of the camera, and that's the only thing you think about YouTube. And I need subs, but now I've got a few subs, and I've got not reliable, what's the word, like I've got people who support the channel. Like I've noticed in the last, especially since I've started these live streams, some people really support the channel, and they come on and really show passion. I found a lot of the people on the channel who were on the channel who were close to me really like that thing about my own shop, and that's something it's all linear. That's in my plans, which, as I say, once the temperature warms up, I've got some projects. So yeah, so let's let's start talking about them projects, because we're 10 minutes in. So the first thing is we set the Wallstad tank up, didn't we? So there's two reasons behind that. One, I want an ecosystem. I love ecosystems. I just put some celestial pearl danios in there yesterday, and they're one of my favourite fish, which this ties in with what I'm saying. It's, you want care guides, a couple of you want care guides for fish. I've been asked a couple of times, and that ties into it, because I want to start breeding these fish as I get them. So I've got the celestials, and then I'm going to move all the goldfish out into a pond, and then once they're out in the pond, I'm going to get the ponds in polytunnel, and then that frees these tanks up then. And I'm thinking of doing some plans with I'm not too sure what I want to do with the tanks over the summer, but any suggestions would be cool on that, to be fair. I was thinking of doing a massive planted tank, but it's getting the plants to do that, isn't it, at the moment, because that takes a lot of plants up, that tank. And then we've got this tank, we can do something with that. Breeding, I can get a few tanks, start breeding like the celestials. I only have to pop a little cup in with some Java moss, and I've got tons of Java moss up there, so I could pop that in and let them breed in that, and then move the eggs out. So, and put them in a little tank in here, and then celestial pearl danios can live in quite cold conditions. I was talking about them to the guy in the fish shop. He said he had them in the garage in his house. He had all, and when he was shutting his fish room down, he thought he'd taken everything out of all the tanks, turned the heating off in the winter, and the garage was just outside in the cold, and these celestial pearl danios were out in the cold. So the temperate, they're not even temperate, they'd survive in the cold. So it's something I can bring in here and not have to worry about them getting cold during the winter. So I could bring them out and breed them, and then as I'm breeding them, I feel like as I'm breeding species, then I can put care guides together, and then I can do the tank setup videos as well. So they both tie into each other, and they tie into what I already had planned. But what I'm thinking of, as I say, I'm going to set a polytunnel up outside in the summer, get some ponds out there for the fish. So I've got the Aranda, the Ranchu, and I've got the Sarasas, and they can all go outside, and that'll be it then. That'll free the fish room up. So then we can start looking at other cold water stuff, because I want to get these fish in bigger bodies of water, because that's what goldfish need. They need to be outside, and they need seasons, because then they'll breed. Like, don't really want to breed them, but that's part of their annual cycle. So there's that, yeah. And then goldfish go outside, and then what my plan is I want to start growing plants. Like, I don't know whether you've seen the Wallstad tank, but there's quite a lot of money been spent on plants in there, and it doesn't look like there's anything in there hardly. So I'm trying to get them growing, and then prune them, and then I'll plant them, and then that gives me a lot of plants to start with, and then I can start pruning them, and I'm going to start planting them outside and get them out in the sun during the summer. And like, I feel like that'll, because don't forget, I'm only a year into my hobby, but again, and I've got this all set up, I think it was September up to October, not last year, the year before I got back into the hobby. So I've set the fish room up, set the display tank up, and I want to get outside, because I enjoy fish outside. So I want some projects with temperate water fish. So I'm thinking celestial pearl danios, white cloud mountain minnows, I've got the goldfish, and then shrimp. Don't mind it, like, they're temperate. So what I'm thinking of doing is growing a load of plants out, so that ties in with I'll have loads of spare plants then to do scaping projects. I could even take that a bit further, couldn't I? So there'd be that. And then I just need to get escaping supplies then, don't I? Like sand, substrate. But all my tanks that I'm going to set up as dirty tanks at the moment. I don't know whether to do this in the summer, because we've got cracking lights on this tank. I don't know whether to put that when they move out. I don't know whether to do a planted tank in here. I never did it dirty. I just think it'd be amazing. Like, it's 5 foot. So we clean all the glass up. There's some hard watermarks on there, but I used to be a vision technician, window cleaner, so I could clean that all off, no problem. And then there's that, and then that'll give me the chance to do more scapes, wouldn't it? So that's what I want to do. There's a blobby noise coming down here. Where's the blobby noise coming from? It's coming from there. Yeah, so that's my plan. So linearly, so I've got the wall stud set up, haven't I? And then I've got the celestial pearl danios gone in the tank. There's some blue ram's horn snail have gone in, and I'm going to get some crystal shrimp, and then that's that tank set up. Actually, funnily enough, I ordered a load of plants, and they haven't turned up yet for the wall stud tank. I've also bought a set of shelves. This ties into the next bit of the video, doesn't it? So I bought some shelves, and I'm going to put some nano tank. Well, I've already put them on, and then I'm going to set scapes up in each of the tanks. Now, one of them I'm going to do is a black water tank, because I missed my black water tank, so I'll set that up as a black water tank. And then the two, I'm just going to do like dirted tanks. I might even do the dry star method on one, because I've got an idea, but they're quite slow growing plants, so I'd have to get them in there and get them growing before I put the water in, otherwise it would probably just turn into an algae farm, and I don't really want that. But then I've got 3 tanks. I want to get Neocaridina shrimp, I want to get reds, blues and golds in there, or yellows, whatever you want to call them. Get them in there with the plants, grow all that out, get them starting breeding, and then the Neocaridina and the crystal shrimp outside in the polytunnel for the summer, in tanks with plants, grow all the plants out, and then I wouldn't have to say I had this tank full of ready to set up, then I could just dirt it, cap it with pea gravel, and then I'd have tons of plants outside that I could plant it all up with, and then I could throw loads of shrimp in, and if I'm breeding fish I'll have, like, I could have like a big school of celestial pearl danios or white cloud mountain minnows in there, and it just looked great straight away, and then I wouldn't have to spend a bomb because I've already made everything myself. And that's what I could do with this. And I've got this tank down here, and I'm starting to decide that I don't like tanks on the bottom. I just don't find them very convenient, so I feel like that would hinder the... I just find them, they're not very convenient, are they? And you don't look at them. Like when I walk in, I'm up here, so I'm looking there and I'm looking there, and then that's just duckweed. That's all I can see is duckweed, and then fish. Obviously that needs cleaning, but I've just let it go al naturel, haven't I? Like I said. But you can see all the stuff happening in the soil. I want to do an update on this tank. I might clean the glass and just do an update on this tank, because everyone says you can't keep goldfish in planted tanks, and there's cryptocorean, I can't even pronounce it, cryptocorean lupins in the back of there, and they've gone gangbuster. Like I've got a chunk like that of cryptocorean, and I'd be interested to get them out and let them, like, that would literally fill the blank spot in the ball start tank, and they'd absolutely go ham on the soil in there. They'd probably double again, but maybe I'll do it in the spring when I get the fish out. I want to get them cryptocoreans growing. I've still got Val in here, Valsmeria, from when we done the Tanganyika tank, Lake Tanganyika tank. I feel like once I get that in some substrates, I might even... Tell me in the comments whether you think I should do it, but I'm thinking of getting them Intex paddling pools. I've already got one out there, I've now the goldfish were in one in the summer, but I was thinking of getting one of them, putting a load of soil in it, capping it in like spring when it starts warming up, and just planting some Valsmeria in there and just letting it go ham. So I've got like I don't even have an end goal with growing all these plants. I just know I want to do it. Like the whole idea of it fascinates me. I mean, I could probably take it to the fish shop and pass them on to someone. Like, I could take it to a fish store, maybe 2, but obviously they get all the supplies from Aquadip, so I don't know whether they'd be willing to take it off me, because I don't know whether they'd be willing to, but there is that there. Right, so where are we up to? So that's that plan, isn't it? And then once it's all outside, like, we get all them growing, and then we can get tanks in here, and I can get some breeding projects going. I want to pick some, like, 5 temperate fish and 5 different types of shrimp or something, and then I've got the snails, and then they give me all breeding projects that I can do, them care guides that people have asked me for. And like, I feel like it's important, if I'm going to do a care guide on a fish, that I own the fish and I've bred the fish, and I can demonstrate that I've kept them for a period of time, because otherwise I'm just one piano lesson ahead of the person I'm giving piano lessons to, aren't I? If I've sat down, googled it, read it, and just posted it on a video, like they say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. And yeah, like, it's the experience of keeping the fish. You should be speaking from experience, not a Google search. So that I feel like that's important to me, that I've got the fish myself, and the B-rolls, my footage from my fish. It's not. I just feel like that's what you guys deserve, you know. So once all that's done, I've got the plants. As I say, like, I don't even know what to do, but I just know I need them. Like, as I say, I could plant all these up. I'll have the little tanks. I suppose I could just, like, it all fits in together, doesn't it? Like, I could have all them plants going, and then I could just rescape tanks one by one. Because, but the thing is, there's only so many tanks you can escape, isn't it? I think, maybe, I don't know, because I tend to escape tanks differently to other people. Like, other people just go on the triangle principle, don't they, where, like, see your screen there, I don't know whether you can see the screen like I can, but you kind of draw a triangle, don't they, across the screen, and then they put everything in that triangle, like the hardscape, the plants, and everything all goes in the or that way, or they'll do it like that, and everything's in the triangle, so then it's just open water around it, and they'll put sand around, so they'll put, like, what a lot of escapers do is they'll put the hardscape in, and then they'll fill an area with aqua soil, which I don't know whether I'm a massive fan of, to be honest. I think it's overpriced for what it is. Like, see, these are the things that, like, get me in the hobby. Like, I think people are trying to sell us stuff that we don't really need. Like I'm not having massive problems with data time. Like, I never have. It's, as long as you keep an eye on your parameters and stuff, and you balance everything when you start. Like, I just find aqua soil's a solution to a problem we didn't have, really. Well, I suppose there is the problem if, like, you break the cap, then that's it. But there's a lot of things that people have been doing for years, isn't there? And there was one guy, and it interested me the other day. I just caught up on his videos, and he was doing plenium, and it was like, remember the old under gravel filters where it's like a pipe and then it goes all under the gravels like a big plastic mat, and it draws all the water down into this mat, and then it pulls it along and then up the pipe, and the pipe's just like a sponge filter. So the way that sponge filter works, sorry, I just scared the brain. So you got the sponge filter. Now imagine that pipe there is just like, it's the under gravel filter would suck the water up to the pipe and blow it out the top. Well, with this plenium system, what he did was cut the pipe off, so the water comes out slowly at the bottom. So the water gets drawn into this plenium system slowly, and it slowly brings the water along and then releases it, so it moves around, and it takes ages for the water to cycle around the tank. Now, the whole theory behind, and this guy's a doctor, by the way, so I like to think a doctor knows what he's talking about, so he's a doctor in biology, and the water, like the water goes into the soil and it's in the substrate that long that the substrate becomes anoxic and it strips the nitrates out the water, and just this whole idea of it completing the whole cycle, going nitrite, ammonia, nitrate, and then obviously it'll turn it into hydrogen sulfide gas, which will escape out the tank. So there'll be no nitrates in the tank. That idea fascinates me, and I think to myself, you know what, I wouldn't mind having a crack at setting one of these tanks up and having a blast at it myself, because being able to complete the cycle and having zero nitrates at the end of your cycle, like, that's something I've always aspired to want to do. Like, it takes the need for water changes out. Obviously you've got fish like goldfish, and that's another thing. You've got goldfish, stuff like that, where they say it releases GABA, I can never pronounce it. It's GABA, GA acid, isn't it? And they say that releases that hormone which stunts the fish. Now, I've seen other studies that say don't mention stuff like GABA hormones. Like, I could go into it in depth, but for the purposes of this live stream, there isn't really much point. But like, you've got like the likes of tilapia, which they won't stunt. Like, you can have them heavily packed in a small tank and they just keep growing. So it makes you wonder, is that hormone or is that hormone a different fish? But I've seen scientific papers on the other way around saying, well, it is a hormone, but what it is, it's cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So if you've got high nitrates in the tank, that stresses the fish, and that stress causes a raise. Well, it's stress, isn't it? So it releases cortisol into your system. That's what happens if you're in debt or whatever, blah blah blah. Like, your cortisol levels go up, and when your cortisol levels, your libido, your appetite, everything goes down, doesn't it? And like, the exhaustion phase of stress is depression. Like, so there's that, and that's what these scientific papers are saying. So basically these levels go up in the fish, and the fish is stressed because there's high nitrates and stuff like that in the water, which releases cortisol, and then that's what stunts them, is this high level of cortisol over a long period of time, which would, it happens to humans, doesn't it? It happens to every species. Hello mate, how are you doing, buddy? This is good to see you. I'm just talking about stressing fish. But so that it does make me wonder whether they stunt or not. They're flashing at the moment. I've noticed the last couple of times I've been in here, they do a bit of flashing. Now, it worries me because I find with goldfish, when the temperature's quite low in here at the moment, and when the temperature's low, I find, when you get that, listening while working at the office, that's brilliant, mate. You're in the office, man, and you're listening while you're in the office. How's the audio? Is the audio okay? Because I've set a new mic up, and I forgot to ask whether the audio's any good, but now you just mentioned the fact that you're listening made me think about the audio. I was hoping it's better. But as I say, like, what I find is, sounds great, it's awesome, that's brilliant. So yeah, when it gets to spring and you get like that, you get the cold nights and the warm days and the temperature starts swinging, I find that's the worst time of year to keep goldfish, is because the parasites seem to get going, the metabolism seems to get going before the goldfish, and that's when you really need to keep an eye on your fish, because if they're outside. And he's doing quite a lot of flashing at the moment. Now, I don't know whether that's because we've had a warm day and the temperature's going up, so I don't know whether that's upsetting him. But the last few times I've been out here, I've noticed he's been upset. So, as I say, I've got them tanks, I'm going to plant them up, and then I'm going to do, one thing I'm doing is one black water tank, because I love my black water tank. And then I'm thinking of doing a dry start tank, because I want to get something in there, and as I say, it'll turn into an algae fest if it don't grow. I want to get something that's quite slow growing at first and get that going, and then fill it up with water. Plus, I've never done a dry start, and as everyone knows, I like experimenting with stuff. That's what I'm all about. And then the third, I'll just do like a dirty tank, I'm thinking of getting some stems in there, and maybe some cryptocorenes in there, and then just letting them grow out for a couple of months. And then once the temperature starts warming up, then we're getting the polytunnel. The fish are going out there, and I want to get some plants out there, get them growing, and once they're growing, then I could plant as many tanks up as I want. I mean, so here's the thing. I've just set up a YouTube page, and I've got people messaging me on the page thinking I'm a shop. And there's nothing on that page. It's gone quite well actually. The page. I think we're on about 500 followers at the moment. But I've got people messaging me asking me where I am, and I've got any fish for sale and stuff, and I'm like, there's nothing on my page that says I sell anything. Like, I've never mentioned it, but it just makes me think, well, if people are looking for stuff, then if I'm breeding fish to stock tanks with, and if I'm breeding shrimp to stock tanks in, and I'm growing plants, like, if I get overstocked with these things, then maybe I can look at moving them on to people who want them. Because for me, like, I talk about these pots all the time, don't I? But you pay like £6 for one of these pots from a shop, and you get like 6 inch. That's a tongue twister. 6 inch. It's such a tongue. It's a 6 inch stems. Said it. That's quite a tongue twister. Try and say it. It's trickier than you think. So you get them, don't you, from like the Tropica and Aquadip and stuff, like 6-7 inch stems if you're lucky. Just say that. And now, if I was going to grow plants, I wouldn't be selling, like, I'd be selling stems for like 50p each. I was about to say £50 then. Imagine that. They're really rare. No one else has got the plants I've got. So with that, I'd pass on decent amounts. Like, I'd want people to think, yeah, this guy, was looking after me. I'd like, because I would look after people. Plus, the way I look at it is, I'm doing something in my hobby, and then to benefit me, and if it can benefit someone else's hobby, and that's what they want, and I pass it on to them, and then I get something in return, I can invest in my hobby even more. And it's just cuts out the middleman, doesn't it? It cuts out people who are trying to sell us tat. Cause, like, that's what I always talk about, don't I? People selling us hobbyists overpriced tat. I could go on about that for ages. It just bugs me, but it is what it is, isn't it? Like, people want gadgets, like, and there is some pointless gadgets in the fish shops, isn't there? Like, but I say there's all that, and then once I've got all that, then I'll have it all in here, won't I? So I'll have like I've got the celestial pale danios, and I'm dying to try and breed them. I had them last time, and I had a female, and it looked egg bound. The little female was just swimming around, a little fat bum, and I had like quite a few males. I never got round to breeding them, as I say. It was when I was moving out of that house, and I thought, what's that noise? I thought that was it. I was out the hobby when I left that house. All my tanks, and I had like a massive Aqua Reef 400 with the sump, and it had like a light, and the light on the tank was worth more than everything I own now. And I got rid of it all, and I thought that was it. I'd left the hobby, and like, it's about 7 months I didn't keep any fish, and I was just pacing the house when I was on my day off, and my girlfriend was like, Keith, you need a fish tank. Like, you need something, you can tell you're missing it. So went out and bought a little like 25 litre tank. It was in here, because I took it in the house before, because that's one of the tanks I'm going to set up. That's the one I'm going to do. I'm going to do like some Rotala, and then I'm going to put soil cap in, Rotala, and then I'm going to have wall of scape, and then I'm going to do some sand, and then I'm going to plant some cryptocorns or cryptocorenes in the soil, and then let it all spread out. And that's the tank. I started with that, and I put a little piece of rock in it. In fact, so yeah, put all my scaping supplies in it. So I've got this piece of dragonstone. Like, I instantly fell in love with this piece, because it's got like, I don't know if you can see that channel. Like, it just looks awesome from so many angles. And like, if I get that, then I got that to plant. I just thought it looks awesome, and then like my fish store's got a escaping dojo, and do you know, like, that's another thing. That's another reason why I want 1,000 subs, is because I don't want people to think I'm trying to be a YouTuber. I want people to think, well, he is a YouTuber, because then I could go into the shop and be like, I'm a YouTuber, let me film. Because like, as I always say, I cause murder in my local fish store, and I've been everywhere in all the staff areas. Like, there's this room, wow, like, it fascinates me. Like, I've been going to this shop since I was a kid, and there's this room in there, and you've got all the fish tanks. You know, and like, and he's like built an area in his shop, obviously, so he can heat it, and it's all boarded out with insulation, like this room. And it's just, I think there's about 150 tanks in there, and in this corner's a door, and when you look at the door, there's this staircase going down. It's all dark, and I've been looking at this staircase for about 30 years, and I'm thinking, should I do a YouTube video? Should I go in and ask the guy in the shop, can I film what's down there? Just, there might be nothing down there, but it just fascinates me. But anyway, I had this rock. It's like a Banksy, like, you know the way, like, no one knows who Banksy is? Well, people say they do, but I don't know what they do. So I had this rock like this in the tank, and then I planted all, put Rotala behind it, didn't I? If you've seen the video. But I'd say that's what I want to do, and get them, I want to get some big ponds. I'm just telling you stuff that I shouldn't be telling you, I should be showing you in a few months. I want to get big ponds, I want to fill them with plants. But I'm thinking of getting plastic tubs. I always ask, the worst thing that can happen is they say no. People don't say no to me. Like, I don't know why, but like, I'm good at twisting people's arms. So, like, there's not clay in there. Like, I don't know why, but I'm good at convincing people to let me do stuff. Probably because I'm very polite about it. So, but then at the same time, I'm a pain. There's a lot of soil in there. It's weird. But I need to stock up on my escaping supplies, because I'm getting them. I want to get some ponds outside. I want to grow some Neocaridina shrimp. I want to, like I said before, I want to get some reds, blues, and golds or yellows or whatever you call it. I want to get them outside, because if I'm perfectly honest with you, I don't know whether anyone's seen what's her name, Joey from the King of DIY. Mentioned her a few years ago. He used to see her at all the events, and she bred nano fish, and she had them in like ecosystems. What was her name? She had like punk haircut. She had fish pimp tattooed on her knuckles. What was her name? I can't remember. Anyway, like, I watched one of her videos, and she put ponds outside in the spring, and like threw some plants in, some stem plants in each one, and then she threw like, she had like a little tub, like this. You always need Rachel O'Leary, that's the one. And she had like a tub, like, I'm terrible with names. I'll remember a face forever, but you could tell me your name, and I'll forget it in 10 minutes. But I'd remember your face in 80 years. It's strange how that works. Like, other people have facial blindness, don't they, where they remember people's names, but they don't remember the face. But anyway, she had these tubs, and she put about 10-20 shrimp in these tubs, and then put them outside, and within 6 months, did you watch that video, by the way? Because she put it outside, and it just went, like, she had like 500 shrimp in each tank. Now, if I did that, I'd probably stick them on eBay, or, like, if I'm honest, like, as I was saying, like, I was thinking, because I got that Facebook page, and like, I'm talking about all these things because I make YouTube videos on, like, she doesn't make videos as much anymore. It's sad. Like, something happened in her private life, I think, and she stopped making videos. Another person's done that, to be honest, as well. That Jacob Castro. I don't know whether you've seen him, but like back in like 2010, I've talked about this. I think I'm talking about everything on the same thing on every live stream. But this back in 2010, like, everyone kicked off. Oh mate, wow! I didn't realise that. That's heavy. That. Didn't realise she was sick. Now, I know a fella. She split up with her husband, didn't she? And like he was the guy who built the Fishroom for her and stuff. And I know her kids were just like to be young adults now. I think it seemed like a really good parent because I don't know if it's Instagram I was on, but she's always sharing pictures of like her taking kids to gymnastics and supports and stuff like that after school. That's another YouTuber that like I want to see it do well. You know, I don't like. There was this Jacob and like obviously Rachel came from. She was going to all these meets with, and it was Joey the King of the DIY who was like, go and watch this woman. And I think just him mentioning her Facebook, her YouTube channel, got her like 60,000 subs. So imagine that. But I started watching it, and it was that like when she started going on. So obviously she's done nanofish, and that's something I'm in, like because she does ecosystems, and I always bang on about ecosystems, and like I was talking about the planning. Don't know whether you heard me talking about that, but like I'd love to have a go with that because that's like zero. It's supposed to pull your nitrates down to zero. Now this concept of people say you can't do it, but people say you can't keep goldfish and plants in the same tank, especially in a dirted tank. Now about quarter of the footprint of this tank is cryptocarines in dirt with sand cap. I've got goldfish in here. I'm going to have to clean the tank down and show you because they've done absolutely nothing to it. So people who tell you they can't do it, I've done it. I love that. So I want to try this nitrate thing and see if I can get it down to zero. So obviously you can do it with a planted tank. I've got that wall-start tank I've got going in the living room. I'm testing the nitrates daily, and they were at 20, and then they were at 10, and then they're coming down to 5, and I'm like, there's no fish in this tank, and I'm throwing loads of fish food in this tank, and the nitrates are coming down. I've watched, there was ammonium in there, and it changed to nitrite. Obviously the plants are going to nail the ammonium first, because they find it easier to, it basically, what humans do with proteins, plants do with ammonium. So they've nailed it all to grow. I'm running a planning. Mate, you just come, you just become my hero. Is it zero nitrates? Please tell me. I'm going to have a go. I'm going to have a go at this. Because I've just been talking about this. Like people are going on about GABA stunting goldfish. Like they say goldfish release GABA that stunts them. And then there's other people who say it's cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Like the high nitrates creates, and the small space cause high cortisol, which makes your fish sick. Well, it makes everyone sick. So, as I say, I've just been talking about that. I don't know whether you caught it, but I'm just wondered. I just wonder whether what actually stunts the fish, whether it is nitrates or it is GABA. I wouldn't want to risk it, to be honest. But I definitely want to have a go at this planning thing because it sounds awesome. Like, is that guy the pond guru, isn't it, who sells Biohome, which is in that tank, and it's in that tank. And he says that reduces your nitrates down to zero. Now, there's people who say that there's no way of getting your nitrates to reduce. But I done like a year's reef keeping, or 2 years. No, it was well more than that actually. I think it was about 5 years of reef keeping. To be honest, I quit testing. The goldfish are very healthy. I change their water maybe once a month. They're on a 65 gallon tank. Fair enough. Like, this is the thing with me, is like, I'll have to check it out, buddy. I'll have to check them out. Like, I'm trying to streamline all my social media, so I've just set up this Facebook page, the group. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drive it. I'm driving up to 1,000 followers, and then I'm going to streamline it. I'm going to post my YouTube videos on there, and I've already set it up so when I share a picture on Instagram, it goes straight through to the page. But it seems to do better on the Facebook page than it does on my Instagram, even though my Instagram's about 5-6 years old. Have you seen Dr. Kevin Nowak videos? Bro, that's who I was talking about. Couldn't think of his name. That, like, which is, we're going full circle here, like, with this conversation, because I was talking about Jacob Castro. I was looking at them plenums on Novak's videos, and it was him who mentioned Jacob's aquariums. Said he'd shut down. I've seen the videos, and I was like, what, zero nitrates? I need to watch this, because as I say, when I was doing reef keeping, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about nitrate reduction and phosphate reduction, without doing water change, because obviously a water change in a reef tank is expensive. I think my reef tank was I used to do, so what, I had 60 divided by 20, so I think it was about £2, 2, 4, 6. It was nearly a tenner to do a 25% water change. It's quite a quick number, isn't it, really? £10 to do a 25% water change. So it cost me like £40 to do 100% water change. And in freshwater, if I'm doing a water change, I smash at least 50%. Because I don't know whether you've noticed, I've got a test kit here. Like, no one's ever talked about this. I don't know whether I'm. But if you get your test kit, and then you look at the numbers, right, and then you go, right, to testing, so it's, so you hit 20 ppm of some, say your nitrates are at 20 ppm, and you're like, if you do 50% water change, they go down to 10 ppm. Now, if your nitrates were 10 ppm, and you do a 50% water change, they go down to 5. So it goes up to the next one. But I don't know whether anyone's ever noticed, no one's ever mentioned this, but if you do 50, say you've got 20 ppm, you do a 50% water change, it goes down to 10. But if you do 75, it goes down to 5. If you do it just, like, if you double, like, if you do, it just calculates perfectly. So you do a 50% water change, and it goes down by half. You do 75% water change, and it takes you up to like 5 ppm. And if you do like half that again, it takes you up to like, I think it's like a 90%. I can't do the maths while I'm on camera because I'm. So it's like, as I say, you could go right. It's literally a 50%, 75, 90% water change takes me up there, and you don't have to do any math because it's there on the box, and that's the water test. It literally tells you how big of a water change you need to do to get up there, and no one's ever mentioned that. I was like, hang on a minute. But I as I say, like, I always want to solve the water change problem, because it was something that, as a reef keeper, that's what we talked about doing, wasn't it? Was removing nitrates and phosphates. Now obviously plants do that. There's the big three, isn't it, that you feed plants, is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Sorry, where did that message come from then? So I just had the message on my screen. It wasn't from here, but someone just asked me, can I help? That's angelfish you've just had fried. I'll have to check it out after the video. So where was I up to? Yeah, so I've got the wall stats. Like, that whole concept of zero water changes fascinates me. So, like I say, I've got the wall stat going, I'm getting the plants outside. I'm trying to streamline so everything's in one. So I've got Facebook, Instagram, and as I say, my Instagram channel, even though it's got a bigger following, the Facebook channel people seem to respond better to it. So I want to drive through all that through that. And as I say, I've got people asking me to sell them stuff, like fish that I haven't even got. And so I'm thinking, well, if the market's there, I'll get some plants up and see whether I can move them on, and maybe some shrimp. Which, as I say, it was Rachel O'Leary who, when she set that greenhouse up, that made me think, wow, like I can, like, I think she wants to do. I don't know whether she ever did. Remember the 2 goldfish she found in a little bucket? Like, it's mad because that's what's happened. Like, I've got, when I set the Wallstad up, I put Salvinia, that's duckweed. I put Salvinia in this tank, and there was nothing in the tank. And as I say, it went through the cycle. Plants absorbed the the ammonium, they absorbed the nitrite, and then I had nitrate. The nitrate started to tick down, so I'm starting to feed. Obviously, I put fish in yesterday, but since a couple of days since the ammonium disappeared, there's tiny fry swimming. I've never put any fish or fry in that tank till yesterday, and this little fry swimming around it, and I'm assuming the praecox rainbows, because I had the Salvinian in with praecox rainbows. So, like, that happened to Rachel O'Leary, didn't she? She got 2 goldfish they just turned up. Which, how much of an ecosystem do you want? You set up an ecosystem and it literally gets its own fish in. So it's happened to me, it's happened to Rachel. But I'd say it was here, like the whole thing. And there was another guy who just disappeared. He'd done the, remember my aquarium box? Did you ever see that, where people like paid like a subscription of like 10 or 20 quid a month, I think it was, and you received a box and it'd have like, I don't know, like a sponge filter in it. Chung. Was that his name? I can't remember the name of it. And he had the he had like glasses and black short hair, and he had the fish. He had like a big what did they call him? A tote, what did they call him? Rubbermaid tote. He had a massive one with terrapins in. Yeah, is that him? I didn't know his name, and I'm like, while I've got the camera in my face, it makes it hard to think, doesn't it, of these things. But like, he had like a breeding rack he used to take to fish groups, didn't he? But he set one up outside, and he had this massive pond, and like he was pumping water from this goldfish pond into these aquaponic tanks back out. I've always wanted to have a go at that, like, but I don't want to do like aquaponics, that, like, in the sense of, I don't want to grow veg and I don't want to grow outdoor. I want to grow aquarium plants, and if I'm honest, I'd like to get some like rare ones and get them going, and like Bucephalandra and stuff like that. Fascinating. Like, you get crypts that are really rare, can't you? Like, there's the pink flamingo, and another one I was thinking, like, if you could get like a dirted tank, because they love dirt crypts, don't they? And apparently grape, sad I saw massive grapevine in the back garden. That's another thing I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of, I've got like, yeah, I think it's about 10 foot long by about 6 foot wide piece of soil, and what I'm thinking of doing is digging it out and just planting some like English oaks and some older trees, just like little trees, and just keeping them pruned so they're nice and small. And then maybe some field maples, and then I'm growing my own botanicals. Like, I think that's a cool idea, growing your own botanicals. And sorry, I'm calling you because all my aquascaping stuff's behind you. But that's field maple. Like, I love the way it grows, and because it's a high water mobility tree, you don't get any tannins as such in your water of high mobility. Like, maples are like really high water mobility trees, so that's just maple. Like, you can use Japanese maple, you can use, what have we got in this country? We've got English field maple, we've got the Norway maple, and we've got the one that came over from pseudo platinoids. It's the, what maple is it? The one with the massive leaves on it. I'm trying to think what it's called. It's not the Norway maple, but it's similar. It's got a similar sycamore, the sycamore maple. We've got all them maples. You can just cut the wood, throw in your tank because they're all high mobility. So there isn't much sap in the what's it called. So you got like I can't think. You've got like the bark on the wood. When you pull that off, obviously you get that green cambium layer, and then you got like softwood, which is like if you look through a microscope. So you got the cambium, which it pulls all the nutrients down from the leaves down here, and then like you've got the hardwood and the softwood outside. Now the softwood, it's got like little microscope. If you look through a microscope, you'd see like these little microscopic straws that run all the way up, and they take the water from the roots up the tree to the leaves, and then obviously it brings it back down full of sugars that it's photosynthesized. But I say the high water mobility, that like the ones where the sap's like really thin, they're fine for scaping. Arizona, wow, like you live somewhere so much cooler than I do. Like, but saying that, you live in the desert, like 300 yards from the door to my fish room is the sea. So I can literally walk like 300 yards down there, and there's just miles of coastline with driftwood. But the problem is with the driftwood is like you'd have to soak it for months, because it's just like it's a silt bottom river, so it absorbs any wood in the river absorbs the silt, and the rock, if the porous rock, they just have this foul smell of river silt. It's like a clay, like the silt's like a clay soil. It's not very nice. The smell of it, it's like quite fumey, like quite pungent smelling. But you've got like all these scaping supplies down there. It's quite cool for scaping. But as I say, because the silt, you'd have to really wash it out. But as I say, I've got like I could literally grow this. I've got one planted in the garden actually. In fact, I've got I've got 3 of these planted in the garden. But what I was thinking of doing is moving them from over there to over there. With that, it's about 10-12 foot long by 6 foot wide. So if I got that in there and got some oak, some alders to grow alder cones, and then like the likes of your maples, then I could grow my own scaping supplies, and then get my greenhouse set up, grow my own plants. I just think that's a cool idea, like GYO, grow your own. I'd love to do that. And then breeding the like I want to start breeding temperates, you know, like Rachel O'Leary was doing with her nanos. But like at the moment, because the energy cost is so high, like obviously that's what made me close me fish room down a bit and get goldfish and stuff. But I could get like paradise fish. I've got that big tub. I don't know whether you seen me big blue tub. What I'm thinking of doing is maybe getting like paradise fish, like a male and a female, popping them out there, and then putting some salvinia in there and letting them go ham over the summer. I'm thinking of getting some of them ponds, planting them up with maybe Vallisneria. I've got up there. I've got dwarf lily bulbs up there. I've got Java moss, tons of it there. What I'm thinking of doing is doing some immersed, some submersed, and I just need to do it. You know, when you watch someone online, you're like, especially on YouTube, and you're like, I've got to have a go with this. It's fascinating. Like, everything fascinates. Like, one thing that I've only ever bred goldfish once, and for some reason it's never appealed to me to do it. I think it's, if I'm honest, I think it's because of the amount of culls you have to do, you know, compared to like, if you breed angels or discus, there isn't many culls, is there really? Unless like, or what I found when I was breeding them blues and I had them in this tank down here, like, there was like one with the odd, you know, the ventral fins. There was like the odd one would be short or crooked, and I took them all to the fish shop and got about 50 pence each for them in the end. But I think there was about 50 or 100. I can't remember, but I put it towards other stuff, didn't I? So, but I found there wasn't many culls. Now that's something that puts me off breeding fancy goldfish. The amount of culls, because you end up with start off with tons of eggs, like hundreds of them. You end up with about 10 fish. It's just like the idea of sitting there going through tons of fish and having to cull them constantly, like, doesn't really appeal to me. That's not part of the hobby that I'd be passionate about. Like, as I say, I'd rather fill a tank full of plants and watch them go ham and then like a few little that's what I loved about reef keeping. I was getting like frags, like rare flags like the size of my little finger, and I was growing them out to plates, and you're like, wow, I've done that. And then like so I had a 4-foot tank, and like it just had loads of levels of these corals that were like, you'd glue them on with a little bit of super glue and they'd be like tiny things, and you grow to massive plates, and like it just looked amazing under the actinics. That's the type of stuff that gets me going in fish keeping, like doing like ecosystem stuff. Putting mud in your tank fascinates. Like, why wouldn't you, if you bang into plants love soil, why wouldn't you do that? Like, as a advisor, when it comes to planted tanks, good luck getting that in aqua soil. But as I say, the soil that I put in the Wallstad tank in the living room, I opened the compost straight away. There was mycelium all over it, so that mycelium's gone in the tank. So that mycelium is obviously because there's molds, funguses, and bacteria in soil. Do you know, back in the old days, like, no one ever talks about this anymore, but the way people used to cycle a tank was by putting soil in it, because all the bacteria that breaks all these things down in soil is the same things that breaks it down in fish tank. Like, that's where they come from naturally, isn't it? Like, that's what they do in nature. So obviously you haven't just got bacteria in soil, you've got molds, funguses, and then obviously this fungus mycelium breaks stuff down into like simple things and you can literally where your roots are, you've got like your primary structural roots in like terrestrial plants, and then you've got like fine feeder roots, and like you got little tiny hairs on the end of your roots, and then if you look at them under a microscope, the mycorrhiza coats them. Like, it literally coats these roots and breaks stuff down in the soil and delivers it to the roots, and the roots absorb like pine trees, like Scots pine, Japanese pine. They're like, obviously there's loads of pines, but they can't absorb stuff from soil on their own. They have to they rely on these mycorrhiza, and obviously when you're doing a dirty tank, you're putting these mycorrhiza in your tank. You're putting funguses, molds, bacteria straight in your tank. It's just good luck trying to replicate that, but that's the stuff that like fascinates me. Obviously, I put don't know if you hear the scuds, freshwater amphipods. They were the first thing I put in the tank with the snails, because obviously snails can deal with fluctuating conditions. I'm gonna have to wrap it up anyway soon, but before I go, yeah, that's my plan. So what I'm gonna do, just to summarise what we're talking about on this video, the next couple of months while it's cold, like we're still in the middle of winter, I'm gonna focus on, I'm gonna do less videos. I'm gonna bump it up with live stream, so I'm gonna do less videos, but I'm gonna really work on the quality of the video. I'm gonna write some like scripty stuff. Yeah, I will do. Like, what I'm planning on doing. So, I'll do a video like I've just mentioned before. What I'm thinking of doing is got a 12 foot by 6 foot. I was saying something like that. What I'm thinking of doing is just digging it all out I'm planting field maple, oak, and alder trees. Like, and I'll just prune them to bushes, and then with the obviously with maple, you get with the maple you get like a nice wood. Like, I almost feel like that looks like kind of like manzanita, really. So you get the wood from that. With the alder, you get the alder cones, don't you? Obviously, there was some in this tank when I had it as a black water. Obviously, that puts tannins in your water, and then oak leaves release tannins into your water. Plus, you can put the wood in your tank as well. So that's one of the projects I'm going to do. It's nice that I did the video on how I get all my hardscape from the desert areas around my neighbourhood. Wow, like, see, this is the thing, like, there's so many, like, I feel like there's a platform where we should all be like, because with you doing that in the desert, like, collecting all these things, and then, like, I'm thinking of doing that with growing, like, scape stuff, because, as I say, the whole thing is, like, I want to be, with me wanting to scape tanks, I'm growing plants, and, like, I want to grow loads of plants, and I want to grow, like, breed loads of fish and shrimp and snails. So if I come to plant this tank up tomorrow, I've grown all my own stuff, so I'm not paying out a fortune. So, like, that's what I want to do. So, like, I could scape this tank and this tank and this tank, and I'm supplying all my own stuff, which ties into. See, that's the problem, isn't it? Like I personally, obviously, released a video on setting up my own shop, but I personally, like, don't want to make money as such. It's just that I need money to exist. Like, if I didn't need, like, I was talking in the video that I'd want it to be a hub for the fish, like, the aquarium keeping community, because I always say, if I didn't have to work, what I'd want to spend my time doing is fish keeping. Like, I'm just so passionate about it. It's not a hobby to me. It's like, it's existed my whole life from when I was little and I went collecting tadpoles. Like, it's existed my whole life. It's just, it's not just a hobby. Like, it's in my living room. It's in my bedroom. Like, I've got, like, the rack of nanos I'm setting up. I want to do dry starter on more black water and planted tanks so I can get all the stuff in a polytunnel out here with the goldfish, and that's what I want to do in the summer. And I want to, so what I want to do, as I say, I want to grow the Facebook page up to 1,000. That's my goal over the next couple of months. I want to try and grow the YouTube channel a bit more over the next couple of months. And what I want to do is, as I say, I'm trying the microphone out. I want to try and get the best quality video footage I can. So I want to try and lower the number of videos over the next couple of months, but raise the quality, because then it's just revolution, isn't it? Once you figure out how to do a better job of it, then you get more efficient at doing that job, and that's what I want to try and do. As the temperature's cold, drop the number of videos down a bit. Like, I've got them 3 tanks I want to scape, and I'll do them one at a time, because, as I say, I set that poll up and people reached out and said, like, 75% of them said they want to see me setting tanks up. Now, I don't see myself as, like, an aquascaper, and that's what I don't like. I don't feel like that's what people are asking me to do. I think they want me to set fish tank up, like, the type of tanks I set up, where it's a bit of hardscape, bit of wood, but it's, you know, with aquascapers, I feel like the hardscape is the most important. Like, you get 3 types of fish tank in my mind's eye. Let me simplify it this way. You get 3 types of fish tanks. You get people who are into planted tanks, who set up I'd love that. I don't mind sitting here talking to no one. I've sat here after evening talking to myself, but you know what? I don't care because I'm turning up. But on a serious note, um, like I get people watching afterwards. But it'd be nice to have like 15 people watching me live. So don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying. But I get a lot of people watching afterwards. Like I think I got like 10, 15 people watching the live stream after it, which that's better for the channel than people actually watching it. For some reason, people don't like YouTube doesn't reward you for people watching you live, do they? For some peculiar reason, it doesn't go towards your watch time or anything. So, or your views, which is what YouTube's algorithm is all about. But anyway, what was I talking about then? I can't remember. Just make something up, Keith. Everyone's watching. Anyway, so yeah, there's 3 types of tank, isn't there? Here we go. I've got a brainwave. So you get people who bang into the planted tanks, and the plants take priority in the tank, and then you get people who are into fish, like monster fish or goldfish, and the hardcore fish keepers. And like that's what takes precedence in their tank, and then you get the aquascapers, like the hardcore aquascapers. I'm trying to think of a name, like George Farmer, is it? Yeah, I've just bought his book. I shouldn't know his name. And for him, the hardscape takes priority, I feel, and then the plants, and then the fish. Whereas, like, so there's them 3 types. Like I find there's them 3 types. Like, so I don't class myself as an aquascaper because I don't. For me, the hardscape doesn't take, and all the composition. Like I was talking about it before. I don't know how this will come across on your screen, but literally, so you draw triangles, don't you, aquascapers? So like you'll put all your scape here with your plants, or you do it that way, or you'll set it up. So in them triangles, well, I don't really do it like that actually. Like I'll put like something here, and then like like with your eye comes round, doesn't it? And it like you lead it in kind of thing. That's what like I'm imagining the screen as a fish tank. I don't know whether you can see the same thing as me though. So, but that's how they do it. It's all about composition and stuff like that. Like, but I find most of these tanks where they do triangles, when you look at it, it looks flat. Whereas I'll put like the last tank I set up properly, I had escape like here, and it was like a mountain. It's on my Instagram, you can see it. And then what I did was, do you know what? Right, what we'll do is we'll get me 100,000 subs, and we'll monetize the channel, and then I don't have to work. And then I can have a social life, and my social life's going to be with fish keepers. No, I'm only joking. Like, I don't know how that came across then. I was trying, like, to joke. Like, I work really unsociable hours, and like I'm desperate to get to Preston. Like, there's the Preston Club, and the guy from up the road is the chairman. There's Matt's Fish Shed down the road is the vice chairman of the club. And both of these people I can get to in about 15 minutes in the car, and they drive to a club that's about an hour away, do 2 hours, and then drive an hour back on, I think it's Tuesday or a Wednesday night once a month. And like I'll either be in work till 10 o'clock that night or 11 o'clock that night, or I have to be up at 4 o'clock the next morning. So getting to these things is like really, really hard. So like I'm desperate to do it. Like I'm desperate to do these things. Like I was just saying, like I want to pester me, but I want to pester me local fish store because I know they do loads for me. They've always helped me out, which makes me quite reluctant to set my own shop up. Which makes me think like I need my own angle on this. So I don't know whether to set up an online shop, like for now, and then scale that up into a shop. which takes me back to the Rachel O'Leary thing I was talking about, where like I could do nanofish in here, it'd be fine. Like as I was saying, polytunnel, grow myself a load of plants, move them in here. I could do like skate. In fact, I could use that tank and store loads of plants in it, couldn't I? If I grew them all, and then set this up. I don't know what to do, guys. What do you want to see? You guys are here supporting me. Like once these goldfish are out there, what do you think would be cool? Like I was thinking of dating it, putting like some fine pea gravel on it, and then just doing like a Dutch style with like Alternatharia ranicii, Ludwigia repens, Latala rotundifolia, just all these like just like a big thing of stem plants, and then planting like obviously about like let's say crypts. I always get stuck on pronouncing it. So I've got lupins and Wendetii brown in here, and I was thinking of putting like mid-ground, like a load of crypts, and then I've got like hydrocotyle Japan in the living room and dwarf sedge. So I could nail the front, couldn't I? And then I've got salvinia, and that's another thing I was thinking of in that tub, is like throwing a load of salvinia in that and getting that out there. But like once these are gone, like I could do that. Like I want a really nice display tank so I can sit in front of it and talk to you, like people, talk to you guys. Like I'm desperate to get like the quality of the videos up. How does, be honest with me guys, how do my videos come across? Like it bugs me because I sit there for hours looking at me stats, and it doesn't tell me much about what people are thinking really. And you guys are making the effort to watch it, and I want to make the best quality content that I can, and I want to try and focus the next couple of months on doing that. Like I love live streaming, so like I want to get me audio bang on. I want to try and get me video. Like before, I was looking at buying a second-hand camera. Shorts. It's funny you should say that, because I tried shorts when I first set up the channel, and I was getting tons of views, but I wasn't getting any subs. And now, in the last few days, I've been playing around with shorts, and I've been getting tons of subs. And like, I don't know whether short form subs or long, if that makes sense. Like I don't know if the people who sub for the shorts are the same people who'd watch the long content or the live content. Like I just feel like I'd have three different groups of people. And what I found is last time I live streamed I lost subs, but you know, it's got to be organic, hasn't it? Like guys, like that's, I've been trying to keep them like right down as well, like 15-30 seconds. I find the ones with music in the background seem to do the best as well, like, or like little catchy, like there's that Peter Griffin one, there's that. Yeah, like I'd like the monetization, just to invest. Like I'd like the money from monetization just to invest in like the stuff I'm doing. Today I was looking at buying a camera, to be honest, because I'm thinking, is my video okay? Is my audio okay? I want to get that bang on. I've just got a yeah, that dog. Shut up, doggy. We're talking fish. So I've just got a gaming laptop to do my editing on, and so I want to get better at editing. That's why I'm saying I want to drop the quality, the quantity of videos down to get the quality up. And in the meantime, I want to play with shorts, bump a few of the subs up. Like that's the only reason why I want to monitor, because like there's adverts on my videos. If you go and click through my videos now, there's adverts on. I don't get a penny from because I'm not monetized. Now, my subs and viewers, you know, I put all the effort into making them videos. I'm not saying the videos are great. I know that, like, that's what I want to do in the next couple of months. I want to write little scripts. 10 million views, yeah, like, you need 4,000 hours on the long video, or 10 million, don't you? Which is like 10 million in 90 days. It's like, I think I worked it out at like, based on my stats, how many views I got on each short, I think I'd have to release 111 shorts a day, and all of them trend on the short shelf to monetize. Like, but then in 6 months I've had like 112 watch hours. So, like, either figure. You're doing a little of everything, yeah. So but like, that's the way I want to look at the shorts, is like, the live stream is my chance to talk to you guys. Like, it just is. Like, you're there in front of me now. I ask you a question and you answer it. That, to me, that's the most important part of YouTube for me. That's why I'm here, is to be able to chat to you guys. And then my long form video is like, for me, it's like the bread and butter of YouTube. It's like I want to put out information and inspire people who are like new to the hobby, and like I want to watch your videos on your channels and be like, wow, I've never tried. Like you mentioned about your planning. Now I want to watch that. Planning with goldfish, like, obviously that fascinates me. That's the type of stuff I bang on about all the time. So that's what I want to watch. Like, that's my bread and butter stuff that I want to put together. And then the short, I see that as like, just, I don't want to say you don't have to put as much effort into shorts, because you do, like, if you want them to do well. But like, is that 300 subs once you get to 300 subs? There's a delay. We're gonna, I said I was going 20 minutes ago, but yeah, 300 subs. I didn't know that. Because like, I really feel like I grinded to get to 100 subs. Last YouTube video I made, the last live I was on, I had 88. Well, we started with 89 and come off, and I had 88, and then it jumped up to 91. I think one of you guys like asked your subs to jump on here on my channel, which is like, I can't thank you enough. Like, I'll get one sub a week usually. I've had the big fish lad shout me out, and that's given me a bump in views. So, but like, usually I pick up like one sub a week, and what I noticed is, once I started doing shorts, which I was getting like a couple of, but like, I've noticed everything since I've hit 100 subs. I noticed the wall stab method video I put out the other day, or yesterday I think it was, because I was going to put it out next week, and I thought, but I want to talk about it on this live now, so I'm supposed to talk about it to you if you haven't had the chance to watch it. But what I noticed is me impressions has like gone through the roof on that video compared to all my other videos, and it's like, well done, you've got 2 times as many people watching this video as your normal one. I'm like, well, I haven't done anything specific to, well, I suppose I have, like, and the stuff I need, like, I've edited that video, I've tried to make it more interesting, and then there's like a big pit in the middle of me, like, setting a tank up, and I was like, I should have cut that down really. And I'm always thinking about this, like, because I've got over the beginning stages of YouTube now, where you're like in front of the camera and you're quite nervous, and you can't think about the person who's watching it really, can you? You can't sit here, you can't, like, I'm sat here now quite calm thinking about you guys, what you want to hear. But when you first start with YouTube, you can't do that, because you're too, like, you're too self-aware, and you're too anxious in front of the, like, it's like that for anyone, isn't it? When the first time you put a camera in your face, like, you become self-aware and stuff like that. But I'm getting to the stage now where I'm like looking at my videos thinking, what are these people, am I boring you? You know. So that's what I want to do over the next couple of months, is like focus on getting the introduction right, and then like, because we all know on our graphs it goes within like the first 30 seconds. So I want to get a thumbnail and stuff together that, like, I think my last thumbnail from the stats was like pulling people in. But that 300 thing's interesting, because if they start pushing me content there, then I can sit down and go, right, it took me this to get 100 subs, so I have to do that twice more. Yeah, I've started picking up comments actually. It's on my shorts. Like people like nice tank and stuff. Cheers. Like I don't mind people complimenting me just randomly. But as I say, guys, using my bread and butter, like using the hardcore supporters of my channel, use it here now watching my video on my live stream. So I want to know what you guys want from me. Like, I want to know what brings yous back to my channel. Do you know what I mean? Because yous are here, and you can look at all the data you want, can't you? So I've got my Instagram, and then what I'm going to do is, like, there's that thing, isn't there, where if you go live, I've set my Facebook page up, and if you go live on Facebook, people can give you, like, you know, like you get super chats on here, but to hit it, you'd have to get like 1,000 followers, and you have to keep them consecutively for 60 days. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm posting photos on Instagram, which I'm trying to think. So I've set it up so they go straight to my Facebook page, and I find it gets a better response on Facebook than it does on Instagram. But I say once you get 1,000 followers for 60 days, then you can get like the equivalent of super chats. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, so I'm thinking once I've hit that threshold and the Facebook page is monetized, then I'll start putting me YouTube videos on there. Like I'll start, and then yeah, man. That's that's why I'm here. I just want to talk to other people who are like nerdy about fish. Guys, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. I said I'd be finished ages ago. I said I'd be in by 8 o'clock, and it's like, I'm guessing it's like 8:30. But progress supported missus, so you know, I'm sure she won't mind. She knows it all, like. You know what, actually, it saves me talking to her about fish, doesn't it? Because like that's what I'll be doing, or YouTube. I'm doing both at the moment. Oh, we are. Aquarium Adventures is just going live now, so guys, right, yeah. So let me just wrap up. So I was summarising half an hour and everyone started talking to me, which got me excited. So let me summarise quickly. Deep breath. So I've got the nano tanks in the living room, in the bedroom, the spare bedroom, which is going to be, I'm going to set that up as just like, I've got my microphone. I don't know where to get a new camera, but I'm going to set that up as like a little, so I'm going to get a chair and then I'll have my nano tanks. So the next few videos are going to be me setting 3 tanks up. There's going to be a nano tank planted, and then there's going to be a black water tank, and then there's going to be another tank which I might do a dry style method on. They're all going to be dirted. Got the wall stack going. That just needs crystal shrimp in. And these 3 tanks are going to be nano fish and temperate nano fish and shrimp and plants. Then I'm going to do them videos, set them all up, and I'm going to spend some time writing a little script, making the video with the B-roll, editing it, doing a nice thumbnail, getting it all out. I want some feedback, by the way, guys, on these videos, and obviously I'll get some algorithm information, get that up, then the goldfish will go outside in the polytunnel, in ponds, and then I'm going to get every plant I've got, I'm going to take a cutting off. I'm going to get tubs, like, you know, like plastic tubs, the big ones with the lids. I'm going to get plastic tubs with the lids, bigger than that, probably like 4 times the size of that. Soil, maybe akadama, which is bonsai soil, or molar clay, which is in the thing. Putting that in, mixing it all up, getting the plants in, boom, in a polytunnel, keeping them moist, growing them, and just get like loads of plants going over the summer. That's the plan. So then, the likes of these, I can plant all them up. That's my goal for the summer. Goldfish outside. Breeding setup on this side, I think. I don't know whether to keep that as a stock tank. I'm thinking maybe set up a website and get nano fish, shrimp. You just hit the nail on the head. Like, that's what bugs me. It's like I try not to talk about two things. I try not to knock other people on Facebook or YouTube and stuff, because I don't want to put any. One, I don't want to put negative. I don't want to send negative energy out on there to you. But like, I feel like there's people, like you said, there's people on here on YouTube who aren't aquarists. They're just using aquariums to get famous, and they've got no fundamental knowledge of fish keeping or shrimp keeping or plant keeping. They couldn't answer questions in it. Like, basically, there's channels on there they've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and all they talk about is cycle in a tank, and I don't want. And I'm like, they're not good fish keepers, but they're good YouTubers, and I feel like I'm the other way around. Like, I'm an experienced fish keeper, but I don't think I'm a very good YouTuber yet. But I'm going to work hard, because this is YouTube, Facebook and Instagram are my opportunity with my unsociable hours to interact with other hobbyists, you know, like, and that's, to me, that's what it's all about. Like, that's why I'm here. Like, so I can't remember what it was up to now. I was just summarising. Yeah, so I could do like a stock chant, get a website, sell some plants, and I'd be like that generous. Like, I don't know whether I've got a plastic bag. Like, I've got all my escaping supplies and everything around me. Like, obviously, you get fish bags, don't you, when you're stocking? Oh, I haven't got any fish that I've stocked in here lately, so I've obviously binned up. So you get a bag, loads of plants in it. That's what you get off me. You wouldn't get one of these with 6, almost 7-inch stems, 6-inch stems. You wouldn't get that off me. You'd get a nice handful of plants for what the Tropica sell their plants for, like a £5. Alright, like, I'm going to do your 12-inch stems for £2.50 then. If, like, because I want to look after people, like, because I'm not doing it for the profits, and like, I do it to put the money back into here so we can expand in here. And then if I monetised YouTube and Facebook, any money that drove would just be going into setting up breeding tanks, setting up scapes, that's the plan for the summer, guys. Obviously, as I say, there was that poll. I started talking about that when I first started. So 75% said they wanted me to do more scapes, and for me, I'm going to do 3 in there. I've just done 1. I've got this tank I can scape, this tank. I'm thinking black water with this tank, and I'm thinking of like Dutch style, dated monster. Like, got cool lights. I've got 2 lights on it now at the back, and I've got one of them lights there, and then I get another one there, and it'd be booming with light. It'd just be an algae fest. The plants would be like, what the hell? Didn't even give us a chance to. But anyway, I could obviously can turn it right down to like 4 hours on 2 lights, and then ramp it up slowly and let the plants kick in. But that's so on my study, and as well I'm going to work on the study and editing, and I think I've covered everything. Right, that's it guys, I'm going to go. Like, think of a cool outro quick. Guys, thanks very much for watching me. Where's the button just to get ready? It's been an experience. Thanks guys. Mexican fish guy, like, I'm terrible with words. Can you comment or something on one of my videos, just so I can go and find your channel, because you're the other guy I wanted to check out. Nice one guys, take care. Like, I want to say I love, do you know what, I love you to bits. See you later.